Have you ever got a ticket from one of those red light cameras? I remember I got one in the Chicagoland area years ago. I was just coming off the interstate and it was snowy and icy out. It was late at night, there was nobody around, and the ramp led right into a traffic signal. And it was red. It was yellow for a second. I knew it was about to turn red, but again, there was nobody around, and I didn't see any point in slamming on my brakes just to possibly end up in the snowbank. So I just kept going. As soon as I entered the intersection, my whole car filled with a flash, and there was nothing I could do about it. Sure enough, a week or so later, I get a letter in the mail with a citation plus a picture of my license plate, my vehicle, and even my face behind the wheel. If anybody at the time warned me of a dystopian future or mass surveillance, I would have shrugged it off. This was way before 2020. I wasn't even worried about it. But those dumb red light cameras look like Ataris compared to today's technology. Now we have a national network of cameras that log everyday Americans driving across thousands of communities, stale yellow lights or otherwise. They're called flock cameras, and your community, or even your neighbor, might be feeding the system. Thanks for stopping by NPC Overrider, where we challenge mainstream source code to develop independent thought, one user story at a time. Grab a mask, and let's check out the latest programming. First, what are flock cameras? Flock Safety is a company based in Atlanta, Georgia, and they've built one of the largest automated license plate reader networks in the country. They offer solar-powered cameras to be mounted on poles, buildings, or even mobile trailers. They also sell audio detection systems and drones. They capture license plates, vehicle makes, models, colors, even bumper stickers, direction of travel, and timestamps. All that data is uploaded into a cloud database that's searchable for 30 days or longer depending on the customer agreement. AI lets users query things like search for white truck with a black topper or similar descriptions. These devices are used by law enforcement, homeowners associations, businesses, and private citizens. Not just for policing, but also for catching porch pirates and securing construction sites. We've come a long way since red light cameras. Today we're all tracked on a queryable network of surveillance devices. Let's look at the pros. Flock can help reduce crime, find missing persons, and even crack down on those pesky teen takeovers. Let's look at how Flock's fighting crime. Last year, Flock supported over 1 million investigations. They contributed to clearing about 20% of solved cases across hundreds of agencies. An Oklahoma shopping center saw retail theft drop nearly 70%. Tulsa achieved a 100% homicide clearance rate in under 17 months. Crime is down 56% after implementation in Delano, California. Mount Juliet, Tennessee saw about a 60% drop in burglaries and a 27% decline in auto thefts after installing Flock devices. Homeowners associations like the one in the Shavano Heights neighborhood near San Antonio, Texas, installed license plate readers, which reduced crime and deterred potential offenders. Let's look at missing persons. In 2025, Flock helped locate more than 10,000 missing persons. That's more than 27 per day. They maintained a strong partnership with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children on Amber Alerts. Flock's safety system assisted with the safe return of more than 1,000 missing persons, including some children identified through NCMEC cases. And it's not just about missing kids. Police are using license plate readers to successfully find missing or lost elderly people. Urban chaos. During a violent teen takeover in Manor, Texas in May of this year, police used license plate reading Flock cameras to identify offenders involved in shootings, robberies, and vehicle thefts. Fort Wayne, Indiana recently implemented a pilot program to test Flock's Raven system, which recognizes audio associated with gunshots, fireworks, teen takeovers, or other distress-related events and alerts law enforcement, similar to what the ShotSpotter system does. But there's a trade-off. Here's the backlash. This is where things can get kind of scary. One of the biggest concerns we've seen in the news recently about Flock cameras is officer misuse and stalking cases. The Institute for Justice has tracked about 16 documented cases nationwide of law enforcement using Flock cameras to spy on spouses and exes. For example, a Milwaukee officer allegedly ran his partner's plate about 180 times in 2 months, plus her ex. A Georgia police chief was arrested for harassing and stalking citizens with the system. A Kansas ex-chief reportedly tracked his ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend 228 times over 4 months. Now I know 16 cases nationwide doesn't seem like a lot, especially when you compare them to the countless cases of finding missing kids, elderly people, or the overall reduction in crime. But these are just the cases we know of. Think about how many cops are getting away with this daily that we don't know about. Besides, most of the cases where cops are caught is probably handled behind closed doors that we never hear about. That's why we're seeing mass cancellations. Some of these communities that have had these devices installed for some time are pulling the plug. At least 30 cities have canceled or deactivated contracts. A few examples: Flagstaff, Arizona; Eugene, Oregon; Santa Cruz, California; Cambridge, Massachusetts, Mountain View, California, and Olympia, Washington. Some cities went as far as to physically remove the cameras. Why? They cite privacy fears, terms of service changes, and federal agencies accessing local data without authorization. For example, the Mountain View, California audit revealed hundreds of thousands of unauthorized federal searches. Throw in false positives, data breaches, expanded surveillance features, and a lack of oversight, and people are questioning the balance between safety and surveillance, rightfully so. Quick admin note here. If you've made it this far and you like what I'm doing here, please do me a solid and set the like button to true. And consider joining the dev team by hitting the subscribe button. Now let's get into the final patch. It's not so much the tech. The deeper concern here isn't these cameras or even the AI that's integrated with them, in my opinion. It's the humans behind them. Those communities that I mentioned a minute ago that deactivated or removed the Flock systems, they all had something in common. They're all blue strongholds. They're not getting rid of Flock because they had privacy concerns for everyday Americans. They did it because they didn't want the federal government to use their Flock systems to help them with mass deportations or any deportations. It's easy to see how these cameras can be used to target people depending on what side of the political fence you're on. Remember, they can read bumper stickers. Take protests or riots that we've seen over recent years. Could law enforcement or the government help or hinder those activists depending on what side of the political fence they're on? Political control changes. Mayors, governors, and presidents even come and go. Yet those powerful surveillance systems remain in place. Now let's go back to my red light incident that I mentioned in the intro. Had there been a human police officer watching me instead of a red light camera, first of all, they probably wouldn't even have pulled me over because, like I said, it was late, there was nobody around, and it was icy out, and they would have known. Slamming on the brakes to make that red light would have probably sent me into the ditch, and they would have had to make a call to come and pull me out. But better just to let me go. But that dumb red light camera, all it knows is if there's a vehicle in this box, when that light turns red, they get a ticket. Now we've pretty much flipped the script. Devices like Flock give law enforcement excessive discretion. Maybe too much. That's a much bigger concern than the technology itself. We're not building a dystopian future overnight, but we are setting ourselves up for one, camera by camera, query by query. Still, Flock does offer transparency portals for communities in which their devices are set up in. Just do a web search for Flock cameras followed by a given community, and you'll find a portal that will tell you how many devices are in the area, what they detect, what they don't detect, and which agencies they share data with, amongst a bunch of other information. Whether you trust that information or not is another situation. Interested to see if Flock's in your community? Check the map at dflock.me and see if there's any license plate readers or cameras in your town. Then why not head over to haveibeenflock.com and see if any local cops have a romantic interest in you.
Oh, Billy.
Well, that's going to do it for this version of NPC Overrider. I'm your lead engineer, Greg. But what do you think? Are you concerned with Flock devices in your community? Have you found any pings on your license plate? Open up a ticket in the comments section and let's chat. But for now, we're going to get out of here and grab a beer. Thanks so much for stopping by. Have a good one.